Hey everybody, this is Bob. I'm back again, and I'm going to be doing a reprint of Action Comics number 52, which had the introduction of Supergirl. But I'm not doing that story. I'm actually going to do Superman meets Metallo. So this was reprinted in the 90s. So this isn't the original, obviously. But when I read this, I'm just like, okay, this is pure crazy on every level. And I just felt like I had to talk about it because it's just driving me crazy, right? So, you know, we start here. This is like the clickbait page where you're going to see this stuff and it's going to kind of tell you what the story is, but kind of misleads you because you're going to see something else. But we have Metallo, who looks like Superman, but with a mustache, right? Bouncing bullets off, and then Lois Lane saying, oh, well, that must be Superman, because I swear to God, every person that Lois Lane met at this time was Superman, okay? Everybody and no one was Superman. All at once, all the time. That's it. She was the most suspicious person on the planet. I guess maybe that's what makes you a good reporter. I don't know, right? But what we're going to do here is we have John Corbin. He's driving at night through some mountains, and he's listening to like a radio crime drama. And the radio crime drama is talking about how the police were able to find the murder weapon from this murder that just took place or whatever. And John Corbin is thinking to himself like, well, that won't be a problem because I got rid of the gun when I killed this guy and I made it look like a suicide, right? But I don't know. That's, yeah, so he says he put the gun in a dead man's hand to make it look like a suicide, right? But of course, while he's driving, I guess he's just driving too fast and not paying attention, or, you know, he's too full of himself and gloating about the murder he just committed that he just loses control, flies off the edge, and falls right in front of this, like, older couple. Okay, basically what we have here is we have a scientist, of course, and his housekeeper, right? So, of course, if something like this is going to happen, it's going to happen in front of a scientist. And the scientist is always going to be like, there's no time to take him to a hospital. We have to drive an hour and a half back to my house so that I can perform this experimental surgery that I've been planning on doing, but have never had a human subject to test it on. So that's exactly what happens. The scientist is like, fuck yes, I found a body here. It just dropped right into my lap. Let's take him back to my house. And the housekeeper is like, you're such a brave man for doing this, for saving this guy's life, because he wouldn't have stood a chance otherwise, because there's no way a hospital, I guess, would have been able to save him. So this all goes by pretty damn quickly, because apparently this scientist replaces this entire guy's body with a metal one. He's basically a cyborg, right? He's like a human brain inside of a metal shell, okay? And it says here it's just several days later that he wakes up from a coma, and he's just like, he feels he feels amazing, like he's never felt that good before or whatever. So this scientist starts telling him about how his entire body is made of an indestructible metal, right? Because if you're going to build a body for a stranger you've never met before, you're going to do it out of an indestructible metal, because obviously you're just going to trust that this guy is like the best person in the world, right? Even though just a few panels earlier, he's talking about the murder he committed, right? But of course, this scientist has no idea about that, right? I guess he's just blinded by the fact that he got to perform his experimental surgery or whatever. He shows John Corbin that his body's made of metal, right? I want to point this out because this is what his chest looks like, which is just the fucking Tin Man from Wizard of Oz. You just open this up, and inside are no internal organs, right? Which is weird. But he's powered by a small thing of uranium, which they're going to show later. But here he's like showing an X-ray. Like he's got it in front of this guy's arm. And he's like, this is what your arm looks like now. But later on when we see it, that's not what his arm's going to look like. It's going to look like he just has a human body that's colored gray so that it looks like metal, right? So again, it's very weird, right? But here, you know, we've got like Terminator T-101 here or whatever. And he's, you know, letting them know that, you know, there's two elements that can energize his synthetic heart and keep him alive. And one of them is this small thing of uranium here. You can see it's the size of a pill that keeps him alive for exactly 24 hours. Because why would you want to make it, so he's like, okay, I saved you, I made you better, kinda. But every 24 hours, you're basically going to have a heart attack because you got to race and go get your power supply replaced or whatever, right? But then right in the middle of, and before I jump ahead, you can see here that, his head and hand and everything look like, human. He's apparently covered with a new plastic rubber that's skin-like. So that's why, he apparently looks exactly the way he did. His face is also metal, right? Everything's metal now. He does not care at the fact that he probably doesn't have a metal dong or anything like that. It's just, I was made in metal. That's it. I'm good to go. I feel fantastic, right? But right when this scientist is about to tell him that there's a second power source that he could use, right? There is a lightning crash that apparently hits a mountain and causes a giant rock slide. And the rock slide causes the scientist to fucking have a stroke. Like, he was afraid, and he just like straight out had a stroke. Metal Man, Metallo, John Corman, he's like, even with my super strength, I'm apparently not able to remove these rocks, or I can fight my way out or whatever, but I'm going to keep this doctor here, right? He says it here to blazes with the professor, let his housekeeper find him and take care of him. I only regret that I couldn't learn what the second energizing element is, right? So he's just like, fuck this guy, even though, I'm sorry. Where did this guy think I'm going to get uranium? Okay, like this is not a place, even in this time, you couldn't go and buy uranium in your corner store or something like that, right? So the scientist has told him, like, you have 24 hours. He has no idea how fucking long. He's already had that power source in him, okay? So he can have a fucking hour left. He doesn't know. He doesn't care. He never asked the questions. It doesn't fucking matter. He's like, I'm going to leave this scientist to die, and I'm going to go because I have a job interview at the Daily Planet, even though I'm probably somehow several days late. I don't know what day it is. It looks like nighttime, but I got to go now, right? So he goes to the Daily Planet, and he talks to Perry White. And Perry White's like, fuck yeah, I'm hiring you. I don't even need references or anything like that. You are the new reporter, okay? Superman here looks concerned because he almost had his hand crushed, apparently, by this metal man, even though he's Superman or whatever, okay? But apparently nobody else seemed to have that problem, okay? Other than everybody thinks, I guess, his hand feels cold or whatever. Here he is talking about how he's going to have to get some more uranium or whatever. And I think when he Metallo leaves to get it, he's like, Superman's going to follow him because, I don't know, throughout this whole comic, Superman never once used his X-ray vision, which he uses for absolutely everything else. But he's just going off of a handshake now with this guy, and he doesn't know anything else. But when this guy disappears or whatever, Superman gets dressed. And I love this one because I had never seen this before in a Superman comic, and I've read tons. But Superman, with one squeeze of his mighty fingers, he compresses Clark Kent's resilient clothing and special fiber shoes into a compact ball. A compact ball that he then hides in a secret compartment in his cape. For some reason, in this time, when you're talking about the comics of the 40s and 50s, the biggest thing in the world was someone's secret identity. And somehow, every writer of every superhero thought everyone's questions were going to be, how the hell does he change into an outfit? Where does he hide his other clothes? No one talked about any of the other shit that went on with a superhero. All they were out was, this guy's got to have a secret identity. Nobody thought for a second, oh, Green Lantern's just always Green Lantern. He doesn't change into a Green Lantern persona. He's just Green Lantern, and he probably lives somewhere secret, and whenever anything happens, he comes to our rescue. Same thing with Superman. They never once think that Superman is just Superman, okay? He has to be living among us as a human with a fake name and right next to the one person who suspects that everybody is Superman. So I love it. But they always felt compelled to over-explain what these people are doing with their clothes and their secret identity. Nothing else mattered, right? We just saw how shitty it was that this guy is in a car accident, near death, right in front of a scientist. The coincidence is too huge. Scientist saves his life without asking any questions, makes him the most powerful villain of all time through his ignorance or whatever, right? This guy leaves that scientist to die of a stroke, even though he needs his power. So like none of this followed a logical path. But we need all of this to talk about Superman hiding his secret identity. Well, anyway, Superman follows this guy to a nuclear sub where apparently, I'm sorry. There is a nuclear sub that is running out of air, and Superman is like, okay, I gotta go save them. And what he does is he inhales a bunch of oxygen and he flies down and he shoots it through their torpedo hatch, and these guys get super giddy that Superman's breath is now filling a submarine. Okay, I'm guessing Superman has super breath that actually smells minty all the time. I would assume that, and I'm not even making a joke here, that is a Superman power, okay? Meanwhile, Metallo goes to this Metropolis research laboratory and starts breaking through walls and doors and everything to steal whatever uranium he can so that he can stay alive, okay? Again, a thing he didn't think about in advance, all right? So, of course, on the news, they're talking about these Metallo things. Now, can I just say, here's another one here, right? That, I don't know, kind of cracks me up, right? We've all seen Superman 2, and there were several instances, whether you saw the Richard Donner cut or the original Superman 2, or, you know, not the original, but whatever it was, the one that we've mostly seen, Lois Lane jumps off of a cliff at Niagara Falls or whatever because she trusts that Clark Kent is in fact Superman and that he will save her, right? And of course, Superman is willing to let Lois Lane die to keep his secret identity, all right? Here we are where we have an actress who is going to throw herself over Niagara Falls in a barrel and expect Superman to save her, right? I don't know why she expects that, why she would put herself in that kind of danger. Again, there's no logical things here that are being thought of like I don't know if anybody who watches these videos knows of Sean Baby, but a long time ago on his website, and probably still now, he had things that he was talking about the Justice League, right? The Super Friends cartoon. And he would do articles on like each of the characters, and he talked about Superman. And he's like, every time Superman went to the bathroom, he could hear thousands of babies dying, okay? Because that's what it is. When Superman has to take a shit, people die, okay? He's got to be everywhere all at once to take care of everything, right? And then here's this woman, okay, who's like, fuck those babies. I'm going to throw myself off of Niagara Falls and have Superman save me, because while he's saving me, who knows who else is being murdered or killed or falling by an accident or whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and put myself in danger. Now, Superman says he is going to save her, even though he's annoyed with it and says that he doesn't want anyone to know that he, in fact, saved her, okay? And then it is going to get ridiculous, right? As Superman comics at that time were, okay? Superman goes up the waterfall under the water so that he really can't be seen. And he grabs the barrel, and instead of taking the barrel downwards at a slower rate and like placing it at the bottom where it would just rest, I guess, he flies it back up the waterfall and then lands it. And then she comes out of this barrel, and she's like, some lucky rock must have deflected the barrel toward the shore. Since Superman never showed up, I'd have been killed if I went over the falls. I'll never pull this stunt again. Now, again, she's doing this. Are there no other people there to witness it? Did she just say she was going to do it? Told somebody, they never went to check, and then she just went over the falls by herself? Again, Superman took her back upwards. Like, you can see this here. He's like, I'll swim up the falls like a salmon underwater. The dense mist will prevent anyone from seeing me push the barrel upwards, right? They're seeing the barrel go fucking upwards. I don't know. Again, this comic is filled with crazy, okay? So again, some time goes by here, and apparently Lois Lane's going to lunch, and John Corbin, Metallo, says he'll take her to lunch or whatever. And apparently somebody does a drive-by on Lois Lane, right? They pull out some guns and start fucking shooting, and luckily this guy was like right in front of her, and she saw all these bullets bounce off of Metallo, and she's like, holy shit, John Corbin must be Superman, right? Because I swear to you again, anything, I mean, yes, okay, he deflected bullets, so I guess the logical thing here would be that, right? But also, how many times have they met? How many different superheroes and or supervillains, or, you know, just there's 1,000 things that take place in these books that Lois Lane has seen, but it will always be Superman. But that's fine. She immediately falls for this guy, as we can see here. She is like, holy shit, bullets bounced off you. I want to blow you so bad. It's what it is, okay? He's just like, oh, okay, so she thinks I'm Superman now. And if he ever shows up, she's going to know if Superman ever shows up here, she's going to know I'm a fraud, right? That's the first thought in his head. He's not just like, oh, shit, my cover is blown because somebody shot at me and I didn't fucking know it, and bullets bounced off of me, and now everyone's going to know I'm METALLO. No! His only thing is, oh shit, Superman could show up next to me at any fucking moment, and people are going to know that I'm not Superman. And that's it. Okay, I don't know. Again, leaps of logic or whatever. On the news, we're hearing about Metallo's raids going all over the place, stealing uranium. I honestly don't know how many days have gone by. I'm almost positive that all of this is taking place in the one day after John Corbin woke up. He went to the Daily Planet first thing in the morning, got the job, and during that time, Superman saved an actress who went over Niagara Falls in a barrel. Lois Lane got shot at. Metallo robbed several places of uranium and ended up deflecting these bullets in front of Lois Lane and taking her to lunch. All of this was before fucking lunch. Okay, it's amazing. All right. So, so they're at lunch, and again, you know, he is thinking to himself, okay, I do look a lot like Superman, apparently. I always thought that, like, a major thing with Superman was the fact that nobody really knew, I don't know, what he looked like or something. I don't know. These are the older books or whatever, you know what I mean? So they didn't do the thing where he would vibrate his face to kind of blur it so that nobody really knew or whatever. But this guy's like, fuck, I'm a twin for Superman. And this is the first time he's ever, you know, saw that or realized it or whatever. So he's like, if I shave this mustache, I can just put on a Superman outfit and drive, because Superman's always driving anywhere. And he could just go to this fort and they'll believe he's Superman, and they'll let him, and so he just go in and steal this uranium, okay? Now, apparently he is super strong because he's METALLO, right? He's been breaking through walls. He's been doing all this stuff and everything. He lifts the Jeep to prove to this guy that he's Superman, because I think the guy just saw him driving up and was like, what the hell, right? So he also, like, the real Superman is apparently showing up. So he throws a deer statue at Superman, thinking that somehow that will stop him. And then he throws the uranium and everything in a car and starts driving away. And Superman blows the car over, again, with uranium in it, right? Because, I don't know, maybe at the time, excuse me, nobody knew how deadly uranium would be or whatever. They just keep it in an oil drum. I don't think that's, you know, maybe it's leaded, I don't know. But he just blows it over, and, you know, and Corbin runs out. Or no, I'm sorry, a split second later, there's another incident that's taking place. They're trying to put this globe on top of a statue of Atlas, and the chain's going to break or whatever. So Superman flies down to save all the reporters and everything who are too dumb to get out of the way. METALLO then goes back to the professor, right? And the professor, he's the most forgiving guy on the planet. He doesn't give two shits that Corbin left him to die. He's just like, whatever. So Corbin just shows up and he's like, oh, thank God you actually fucking lived. I didn't think you'd be alive. Like, that's a weird fucking thing to say, right? He's like, but I was wondering if you could tell me what that second substance was that would, like, you know, help me, because I'm having a hard time getting uranium. He never once says to the guy, hey, where's your supply of uranium that you plan on using to keep me alive or whatever, right? Because again, if this guy's out to save this guy's life, he made the power source out of fucking uranium, okay? Thinking, well, I guess I'll just supply this guy with uranium for the rest of his life, and it will be no problem. He'll live with me. He can be my butler, my metallic butler, or whatever, and I'll just give him uranium whenever he starts to run low. But he tells him that the second power source is actually kryptonite, because hundreds of light years away, on the planet Krypton, when it exploded, radiated pieces of it flew through the universe, and all of it landed on Earth, okay? And everyone has fucking kryptonite, okay? It's just everywhere at all times, okay? This guy had it, and he was like, so when I designed this suit, I designed it so the fucking kryptonite would last forever. Would power the suit forever. If kryptonite was such an excellent power source, I know for a fact everyone would be using it. They would be gathering up kryptonite everywhere for free, cheap energy, okay? Or, you know, so that they could sell it at higher amounts but make tons of money. Whatever, they'll be using fucking kryptonite everywhere, right? So Metallo's like, you know, great, kryptonite, that's the one element that can destroy Superman. So I'll steal this fucking kryptonite here right in front of the doctor, because again, fuck him. And the doctor's so super nice, he's just like, oh, it's fine. You go ahead and destroy my stuff and take whatever you need. I'm the one that did this to you, so I guess, you know, it's what it is. So Metallo goes to a place, as you can see here, where Superman has this giant key to the North Pole or whatever. It's like a museum or something. And he hides the kryptonite up in some pipes. And when Superman shows up, Superman is like, oh, fuck, there's kryptonite around here or something. And I'm too weak to fucking do anything. But also the first thing in Superman's mind is, I can't blow it away. My breath is not strong enough. I can't dislodge it. That's what he thought, right? It's breath was my only option here, right? I can't walk away. I can't crawl away. I'm stuck right in this spot. I can't take any of the things that are around here and throw it up at this thing or whatever, right? I get it, you're weak or whatever, but I still feel like crawling. Your first option shouldn't be, I'm just going to blow everything I don't like away, okay, with my breath. But as we can see here, here's Metallo, where he lifted up his shirt. We can see here again, it's just a metal body, okay? They didn't change it. It does not look like Terminator underneath. He just opens up this chest cavity, right? Now, again, his power source was a small pill of uranium, but now he could just take a big rock of kryptonite, okay, and put it right into his chest, right? Now, we do see that this is a sample of kryptonite that I think he took from the museum or whatever, right? He took the real kryptonite from this doctor and he put it up here. And then I'm thinking this sample of kryptonite is not real, right? Superman finally decides to use his X-ray vision to melt the kryptonite, right? I guess I would have thought, I don't know, at this time, I don't even know if Superman had heat vision, okay? But this is proof that he had X-ray vision that he never used on Metallo. But he decided to use the X-ray vision to melt the kryptonite. And he's like, you know, I've never tried it before, and it's never melted anything before, but I feel like if I were to do it long enough, that it could potentially do it, right? So he'll just keep concentrating until it happens. And it says here, 6 agonizing minutes later of Superman dying from kryptonite, he finally melted it. Now, to me, you just have melted kryptonite. Does that not have the same effects as a solid kryptonite anymore? Does all the radiation dissipate when it's melted? I don't know. Superman books at this time were like this. But again, this issue, this Metallo origin is so full of crazy. It's insane, okay? So anyway, Metallo comes back to Lois Lane, but apparently he ripped his shirt. And he told her, like, you know, too bad you're a doorknob, ripped my shirt. Now you all know that I'm Metallo. I must get rid of you like I got rid of Superman. And then he just literally fucking dropped dead right there. And then Superman swoops in right at that moment, right? And he's like, oh, so he bought it. He brought it on himself. He exchanged his kryptonite for mine. And the one that I had was not real, obviously. And he didn't know it. So when he put it in there, it didn't power him, and he just went and died. So Superman, I guess, is looking at this guy as no longer human, right? Even though, like, I'm assuming his brain was put into this metal body or whatever. Superman's just like, well, he brought it on himself, dumbass. He's the one who took my kryptonite. He deserved to die. Again, so much crazy in all of this, right? And I know it's a different time period. Again, I'll keep making that excuse for the book, okay? When the doctor took the uranium out of John Corbin's body in the beginning, okay? Right here. John Corbin just goes, what did you do to me? I feel weak and dizzy, right? That's it. He took the power source out. This guy has no power source. And all he did was feel weak and dizzy from it. And I'm sure at some point he would have died or whatever. But here's the scientist again, just fucking with this guy's life. Like, look, let me remove your heart and you tell me how you feel. And then I'll show you what you feel like when I put it back in, right? And then here's Superman who's like, yeah, you know, I melted the real kryptonite. He took this fake kryptonite, and then he came here and he felt absolutely fine. He never even felt weak and dizzy. He never thought for a second, like, holy shit, something's wrong. I'm not getting any power. He just went and fucking dropped dead. And they were just like, okay. Now, here's where it gets even funnier, okay? Later at the police headquarters, we've got this officer or forensic scientist or something here, and he's like, we were going to arrest Corbin tonight. He made one mistake, Superman. He wiped the gun clean, but not the cartridges he loaded the gun with. So Corbin's print on an unfired cartridge. Yeah, so he says that's Corbin's print on an unfired cartridge. If Corbin thought he committed the perfect crime, and then Superman's like, I know, Inspector, he was dead wrong. He's even making dead jokes or whatever. So, of course, like, right after Corbin dies, they, like, justify the killing by saying, oh, he was a fucking murderer to begin with. He killed this guy, and we found his prints on unspent cartridges or whatever. Holy shit. All of this is fucking crazy. When I read this, I was just like, okay, I got to talk about this because, you know, I've talked about other bad comics before, but most of them are just Rob Liefeld, and this takes the cake on all of that, right? Artwork is pretty good here. You know, no notes on any of that. That's what the artwork looked like at the time and everything. But the story is fucking out there. It is amazing what they would over-explain, under-explain, just every decision that went on. None of it had any kind of logic employed here. It was just amazing. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Do me a favor and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel. It'll be very helpful. And if you like this video, hit like, because again, that's very helpful. And until next time.